Hey everyone, my name is Jena Kravitz. Happy 20th of the month, which I know is a big day for a lot of us and kicks us right into month-end madness. So I'm coming to you live today from Los Angeles, California, and I'm super excited to be here. So today I'm excited to focus this particular Periscope training on the leadership mindset and to share with you some of my top tips in growing a strong and successful business and organization, and in being the kind of leader, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold here, and in being the kind of leader that you really want to see duplicate in your organizations. Because trust me, being the only leader is not a fun time. Making sure to grow those emerging leaders actually makes your life so much easier and this journey so much more fun as you go. So, this is actually a fitting time for me to talk about leadership. I can speak in front of really large crowds with no problem, and for some reason, this type of video streaming makes me so nervous. But I could never ask my team or any of my emerging leaders to do something like this if I didn't at least try it myself. So bear with me. I'm new to this, and I'm nervous, but I'm going to try to get my message across as best as possible. And hopefully in the future, you'll see some of my emerging leaders on the same Periscope. So I started this business in October of 2013. And so this month marks the 2.5-year mark of my business. And just to give you a little snapshot of my journey so far, I was able to achieve level 5 in the 9th month of business, premier level 5 in the 12th month of business. I achieved Lexus in the 16th month of business and hit elite level 5 in the 21st month of business. So it's been an exciting journey, and everything that's happened to me has been intentional and purposeful. I will say that. So I'll talk a little bit about my perspective on day one of starting my own business, and then kind of talk to you a little bit more in general of what I think my top tips are. And I wrote 8 top tips for you that have helped me get there. So on day one in starting my own business, let me just backtrack and tell you that I never had any experience as a business owner. Professionally, I work in medicine, I work in teaching, and so I never have had a sales job ever in my life. And this was all new to me. I didn't know the first thing about keeping books or branding or selling, nothing. I really knew nothing about business. So I went into this kind of like a doe-eyed, animal, sort of looking at everybody and watching what everyone was doing. But what I did know about myself is that I have a leader mindset. And I will say that I wasn't always a born leader. As a kid, I was pretty shy, and I think my mom probably would have described me as more of a follower. But when I went to college was really when I blossomed. I joined a sorority and I became president of that sorority, and I did 2 terms as president of that sorority. And that was really my first experience in learning how to be a leader who drives an organization to greater success than it had seen historically, and also how to duplicate what other successful organizations were doing and to be innovative about it and implement that in my own organization. So that was about 20 years ago. And thankfully I did that because 20 years ago I had great training for starting my own business and being the kind of leader that I wanted to be now as an adult. So I came into this business knowing that it was attainable. I knew that it was attainable. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. I looked around at the women on my team, my mentors, and I thought to myself, I could be one of them. I know I can do this. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when it happens. And I didn't have like a timeline. I knew it was attainable. So I decided on day one that I was going to start acting like a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization right off the bat. Didn't matter that I was brand new. Didn't matter that I didn't know a lot about products. Didn't matter that I didn't even know a lot about the business model or the compensation structure. It was kind of like fake it till you make it. I'm running this multi-billion-dollar organization. That's mine. And my only job is to tell people that I'm doing this. So, I didn't have a team yet, but I figured that if I wanted to have a successful team, I needed to act successful. I needed to believe that I was successful, and I needed to share that I was successful. Even if it was small successes, a first sale or a first promotion, anything that would relate to people and make me feel like I was a leader, that I was successful. So I started leveraging other people's successes right off the bat. I used some of my mentors' successes and told people their stories until I could actually tell my own stories. But in telling those stories, I knew that it was possible. So I might have said something like, my girlfriend got her Lexus in just 2 years working this business, and I know that I'm on par to make it in that amount of time, or maybe even less. And I feel like that, I really shared the dream and the vision. I was also coachable from day one. When someone told me to do something, I did it. I trusted that my upline leaders had my best interest at stake and I'm sort of a pleaser. I certainly wanted to please them, but I knew that following in their footsteps was absolutely the way to go, because there is no secret to succeeding in this business. The secret is, if you know a leader and you respect them and you want to be as successful as them, you should do what they do. And I knew if they were gracious enough to share with me that I should absolutely implement those strategies into my life and into my business. So I was coachable. One example of this was when I first started, my mentor had reached out to me and asked if we could jump on a call with my power partner, and the three of us jump on a call. And this was about 7 months into our business, and altogether we had about 6 people in our organization. And she had said to me, Jena, if you want to be successful, I'm going to tell you what to do, but you need to do it. And we listened to her talk, and we got started that same day, actually. So things like start a team page. And I thought, start a team page? I only have 6 people in my organization total, like 2 are mine, 3 are my business partners. And it didn't really matter. We sat down, we talked about the culture of the kind of team we wanted to create. We picked a team name that worked for us and the kind of culture that we wanted it to reflect. And we treated our team page like it had thousands of people on it, but it had 6 of us in April of 2014. We also started doing monthly calls with recognition, shouting out to our rock stars. Okay, there were 10 of us, but it didn't matter. We were treating it like there were 1,000 names to call out. And I think that people were really excited to hear their name and be a part of that. We even decided to hold training series. Now, I was a level 3. I think my power partner was a level 2 at this time. We put together a 4-week training series for our organization of about 30 people at the time. So this was in about May or June of 2014. We put together training series that we held, and we didn't know everything, but we acted like we did, and we communicated and shared everything that we knew, because that's the power of this business, is actually sharing and teaching people how to do what you do. So we also set goals every single month, and we shared them publicly. Every month I would post on my team page and tell my team what my goal was personally, and ask them to share with me what theirs were, so that I could actually help them get there and then celebrate them when they met those goals. We did strategy calls with our teammates. We did group strategy calls with our teammates and with our sideline teams, just kind of holding each other accountable. Excuse me. So one thing we did was we started holding events. I mean, my mentor said to me, you have to start holding events. And I've never been a party person. And so I was always really hesitant to start events. But with a little bit of courage, we got started. And I will share that I held my very first public event in August of 2014. And we had about 26 people show up to the event. And a majority of them were already consultants that work with the company. Well, fast forward to March of 2016, just last month, so not even 2 years later, just a year and a half later, and we held an event here in Los Angeles where 800 people showed up. So I can tell you from experience that even if you start small, if you build it, they will come and it will keep growing. So we started doing small events, and then they grew larger and larger and larger. And now we have to go back to doing smaller events because they're just so big. But it was just such a testament to the magic of how these businesses can grow if you commit to having events, sharing, being consistent, doing your team training calls, shouting out your recognition, incentivizing your teams, acting like a leader, and all of this to say that I acted like a level 5, like a leader, before I was even recognized as a leader. And all of this was not an accident. This was intentional. Because we knew, my power partner and I knew that if we modeled for our emerging leaders the type of leadership that we wanted for our organization, that we would have no problem duplicating that down the road. And that would really be the key to keeping the legacy of our team, of what we'd created, and making sure that all of the generations of people that come after us are equally as successful. So I was consistent, I was authentic, I was raw, I was transparent. Like, for people that, if you know me, you know that I am, absolutely sort of no BS, straight to the point. And I think that really helped in building teams and working with my particular teams, was being all of those things. But more than anything, I was so committed to chasing my dream and to making my vision of being that CEO of a multi-billion-dollar brand a reality. And every single day, I was committed to that dream. And then I'll tell you that I started to learn how to dream bigger, which I had never done because I'm kind of a realist. But learning how to dream bigger pushed me even further into wanting to be a better leader. So I figured I would start off today by talking a little bit about what does being a leader mean and what does the mindset look like. And for those of you that are watching and you know what a level 5 leader is, I figured I would give you a little bit of the background on what that actually means. So the term level 5 leadership was actually developed by a researcher by the name of Jim Collins, who published something later in life it was a book called Good to Great, a publication. And what Jim Collins did was he studied 11 Fortune 500 companies and their leaders. And he published a review in the Harvard Business Review in 2001. And later he published those qualities of those leaders in that book, Good to Great. Well, he studied the personality characteristics of people who took companies from good to great. And the qualities that he identified, he was able to put into different types of leaders. So there's, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. And I won't talk about the other levels today because level 5 is really the leadership that you want to strive for. So level 5 leader, as he described it, is somebody with humility and professional will, somebody who's shy but fearless when it comes to making decisions, somebody who's willing to give the glory and the credit to their successors but take the blame for their mistakes, for any mistakes that happen, someone who takes good and makes it great and understands that success is necessary so that the team and the organization can thrive. Okay, so that's kind of how he described a level 5 leader in those Fortune 500 companies. Now, if we look at a definition of a leader in the company that I'm a part of, for example, it requires you, the best part about my business is that my promotions are not based on a dollar amount per se. My promotions are based on all of those qualities of a level 5 leader and making sure that I duplicate those qualities in my teammates and in my emerging leaders, because I can't get promoted in my company unless I help other leaders get promoted also. So that's the beauty behind the business that I do. It's an opportunity to generate more leaders, to change people's lives, and give of ourselves in the spirit of team success. So what does this all really mean? And here are my top tips for the leader mindset. So number 1, the mindset. So it's believing that you are a level 5 before you are a level 5. It's waking up every single day, walking out the door in the morning like you own this, you got this, that you're a freaking boss and you are a level 5 leader. I don't care if it's day 1 or day 131. You got this, and you got to walk out the door every single morning knowing that you got this, you own this. So it's that mindset that you are committed and you are going to help other people commit and you're going to help other people succeed. Okay, but you've got this. Whatever life is going to throw at you, you've got this. Number 2, I am really mindful of language. So right off the bat, actually, someone had pointed out to me when I did one of my very first events that I never used the word if, and I would always use the word when. So for example, I was a brand new consultant when I did my first event, and I launched somebody else, and I would say something like, my mentor got her Lexus in 2 years working this business, and when I get mine, here's what my life is going to look like. Or I would say, when I hit level 5, my goal is 2. But I never use the word if I hit level 5 or if I hit Lexus volume. And I think that I didn't even notice that I was doing this, to be honest, that I have a tendency to do it. But I think that one of the things that's so powerful about language is that the word if really communicates that it's a possibility that it might happen, and the word when communicates that it simply will happen. And I guess because I always knew that it would happen, I never even thought to use language that communicate that it wouldn't. So if not, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay, number 3. Establishing yourself as in a position of leadership in your organization. I cannot tell you how important this is. So positioning yourself as a leader in your organization sets the tone, it sets the perception and the expectation of your leadership. Essentially, it forces you to show up every morning, even when you're tired or even when you feel like you can't do it. People are looking to you as a leader. And because of that, you have this expectation that you should show up because people are counting on you. So being that position of a leader, I hold strategy calls. I initiate them. I reach out to people and say, I want to get on a conference call with you, or I initiate training series. I write the curriculums for them, for my team, or I come up with new ideas for incentives or contests. I'm always involved in my page. I try to do some daily activity with my team page, which my organization is now about 900 people. So, just trying to make sure that they see my name consistently, that they know that I'm engaged in this business just as much as they are, that I'm not sitting around relaxing. That's hardly the truth, actually, because I'm not in a point in my business where I can sit around and relax, right? I still have one more big promotion to hit. So for me, this is a time to really work hard. If anything, I